Welcome to your favorite channel, where you'll learn everything you need to know to improve your health and lifestyle. Let's get started.
Have you ever stopped and wondered if your mind can actually talk to your DNA? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, right? But a whole field of research is showing us there's this powerful, hidden connection that could totally change how we think about aging itself. So let's dive into this incredible story, a story that's happening right now inside every single one of your cells. First things first, let me ask you a question. Are you older than your driver's license says you are? See, we all have our chronological age. That's just the number of candles on the birthday cake. But scientists, they're way more interested in our biological age, which is a measure of how old our cells actually are. And here's the fascinating part. Those two numbers, they're not always the same. So to really understand our biological age, we need to zoom way, way in. I want you to meet the tiny guardians of our genetic code. Seriously, these are the unsung heroes at the very heart of this entire story.
Okay, so inside pretty much every cell in your body, your DNA is coiled up super tightly into these little X-shaped structures called chromosomes. You can think of them as the biological library that holds every single instruction for building and running, well, you.
And at the very tip, at the end of each and every chromosome, we find our guardians, these protective caps called telomeres. Now, the best way to think about them is with this analogy right here. They're just like the little plastic tips on your shoelaces. You know, the aglets that stop them from completely unraveling? That's exactly what telomeres do for your DNA. Without them, your genetic code would just fray and your cells couldn't function.
And if you could zoom in even closer, what would you see? You'd find that they're made of this incredibly simple, repeating sequence of 6 genetic letters. T, T, A, G, G, G. Just that, over and over and over again. And believe it or not, this simple little code is one of the most important factors in how your cells age. Here's why that is. Every single time one of your cells divides, to heal a cut or just replace old tissue, it can't quite copy the DNA all the way to the very end. It's like a tiny glitch in the copy machine. So with each division, the telomeres get a little bit shorter, and eventually they get so short that the cell can't divide safely anymore. It enters the state called senescence, which is basically cellular retirement. It's literally a biological ticking clock. But wait, the story doesn't end there. We have to introduce the hero of our cellular drama, an enzyme called telomerase. This incredible enzyme, a discovery that won a Nobel Prize by the way, acts like a dedicated maintenance crew. It can actually add back those TTAGG repeats, rebuilding and lengthening the telomeres to fight back against that shortening process.
So if we have this amazing repair enzyme, what's the problem? What's the catch? Well, it turns out there's a really powerful villain in this story that can shut the whole system down: chronic psychological stress.
And this isn't just a theory, this is a landmark finding from the very scientists who discovered telomeres in the first place. In a now famous study, they looked at mothers who are caring for chronically ill children, a situation of just immense long-term stress. They found that their telomeres were so short, it was like adding an entire decade to their biological age. This was the proof that stress isn't just a feeling in your head, it has a real physical impact right down to your DNA.
And the difference this all makes at a cellular level is, well, it's stark. Let's paint a picture. In a low-stress environment, your cells are thriving. They've got long telomeres, telomerase is active and doing its job. But under high stress, it is a completely different world. The telomeres are shortening, telomerase activity is suppressed, and the cell is basically flooded with damaging stress hormones and what's called oxidative stress.
So let's get a little more specific. How exactly does this attack work? Well, it's a 3-pronged assault. First, chronic stress floods your body with the hormone cortisol. Cortisol has been shown to literally inhibit the gene that makes telomerase, slashing its activity by up to half. Second, stress creates oxidative damage and chronic inflammation, which directly attack the telomere DNA itself, speeding up that ticking clock.
Okay, so if stress is the problem, is there an antidote? This is where our story takes a really hopeful turn. It looks like we have an incredibly powerful tool we can use to build a cellular shield: mindfulness.
Now, what is mindfulness, really? This is the most widely accepted definition from its pioneer, Jon Kabat-Zinn. It's not about emptying your mind or stopping your thoughts. That's a huge misconception. It's about changing your relationship with your thoughts. It's training your mind to be fully present with whatever is happening without getting swept away by it. So how on earth does simply paying attention protect your DNA? Well, it works on a few different levels. First, it breaks the cycle of rumination. You know, that endless hamster wheel of worry in your head that keeps the stress response going and going. Second, it helps you reframe situations. So instead of seeing a stressful event as this overwhelming threat, you can start to see it as a manageable challenge. And physically, this calms your body's fight-or-flight system, which means less of that damaging cortisol over time.
This all sounds good in theory, right? But what does the science actually say? Let's take a look at the hard data.
Check this out. This is from a major study on meditation called the Shamatha Project. After a 3-month intensive retreat, the participants showed a 33% increase in their telomerase activity compared to a control group. And what's more, that boost was directly linked to their increased sense of well-being and purpose.
And listen, you don't need to go on a 3-month retreat to see results. Get this, remember those stressed caregivers, that same high-risk group from before? They saw a staggering 43% increase in telomerase activity after practicing a simple 12-minute meditation, daily, for just 8 weeks. That shows that even small, consistent practices can make a huge, huge difference.
Okay, so meditation can boost the repair enzyme. We know that. But does it affect the telomeres themselves over the long haul? The answer appears to be yes. This chart shows data from a study on experienced Zen meditators. And compared to a matched control group, the long-term meditators had significantly longer telomeres, period.
And here is maybe the most mind-blowing part of all. It's something called epigenetics. Research is showing that meditation is associated with lower methylation on the gene that actually creates telomerase. Now you can think of methylation as a kind of dimmer switch on a gene. By reducing it, meditation is basically turning that dimmer switch up, allowing the telomerase gene to be expressed more strongly. Your mind is literally changing how your genes operate.
So, the evidence is pretty darn compelling. But here's the thing. Meditation isn't a magic bullet. It's one part, a very important part, of a larger blueprint for taking control of your cellular health.
The researchers who are leaders in this field, people like Blackburn and Epple, they emphasize that the biggest benefits come from a synergy of healthy habits. When you combine a mindfulness practice with a nutritious diet, with moderate exercise, quality sleep, and supportive social connections, you create the most powerful pro-telomere environment possible inside your body.
We've seen how the invisible world of our thoughts and the microscopic world of our DNA are deeply, deeply connected. This idea that we can actually train our minds to help protect the very blueprint of our bodies, that is a profound shift in how we think about health. So I'm going to leave you with the question on the screen. If your mind can protect your DNA, what's your first thought?
Here are some tips to help you have a healthy and strong body and mind. Remember that we upload videos every day.
So let's talk about longevity and biohacking. These words are buzzing everywhere, right? But what if I told you the real secret isn't some mythical fountain of youth or a gadget only billionaires can afford? What if it's really about optimizing the life you're living right now? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to explore how these powerful ideas can help you add not just more years to your life, but a whole lot more life to your years. Look, for the past 100 years or so, medicine has gotten incredibly good at one thing: keeping people alive longer. Our average lifespan has shot up, but that success has created a brand new challenge. As we're all living longer, how do we make sure those extra years are actually good years? Vibrant, active, and fulfilling. And that simple question, that's the real goal of this whole modern longevity movement. The best way to think about this is to picture your life as a long road trip. Your lifespan, that's just the total number of miles you drive from beginning to end. But your health span, that's the part of the journey where the car is running perfectly, you've got your favorite playlist on, the sun is shining, and you're actually loving the ride. See the difference? The goal isn't just to make the trip longer, it's to keep the car in peak condition for as much of that trip as possible. And this isn't just some personal wellness goal. This is a massive global issue. By the year 2050, it's projected that the number of people over the age of 60 is going to hit 2.1 billion. Now, if we don't get serious about improving health span, not just lifespan, we are staring down the barrel of a future where a huge chunk of our population is living with debilitating chronic disease. And that has enormous consequences for our healthcare systems, our economies, and, for all of us and our families. Okay, so let's get one thing straight right here and now. Longevity is not anti-aging. That's marketing. As Dr. Richard Sayo from King's College London points out, the real scientific focus is on one thing: extending our health span. It's about maintaining our physical strength and our mental sharpness for as long as we possibly can. It's about preserving life in its most true, active, and meaningful sense. All right, so where do we even begin? How do you actually build a longer health span? I want you to think about it like you're building a pyramid. The base, the foundation, has to be incredibly wide, stable, and strong. Why? Because all the other cool advanced stuff we're going to talk about in a minute, it all gets built right on top of this. And this foundation is made up of the simple, non-negotiable habits that give you the absolute biggest bang for your buck. And here they are, the pillars of a long and healthy life. Now, none of this is a surprise, right? We've all heard this before. But the magic isn't in any single one of them. It's in their combined, consistent impact, day in and day out. Seriously, getting these right is the absolute first, most critical step. Everything else we're about to discuss is just optimization, built on this solid bedrock. Let's just grab a real-world example from that list: nutrition. There's this recent trend online called fiber maxing, and it's exactly what it sounds like: people trying to maximize their daily fiber. So why are people so obsessed with this? Well, it turns out fiber is basically superfood for the trillions of good bacteria living in your gut. When you feed them well, they produce these amazing compounds that help regulate, well, almost everything, from your immune system to your metabolism to your mood. It's a perfect example of a simple, foundational habit that has a huge, huge ripple effect. Okay, once that foundation is solid, now we can climb up to the next level of the pyramid: measurement. This is where the whole biohacking concept really shines. It's all about moving beyond guesswork and using real data to get a personalized, inside look at what's actually going on inside your own unique body. And this quote from Pedro Rodriguez just nails the entire philosophy. It's about a fundamental shift in mindset. We're moving away from waiting to get sick and reacting to problems, and toward predicting and preventing them before they ever start. It's about using science to empower yourself. Now, one of the most powerful and kind of mind-blowing tools in this toolkit is something called an epigenetic clock. So think about it like this: your chronological age is just the number of birthdays you've had, but your biological age, that's the true wear and tear on your cells. And these tests can actually estimate that number, telling you if your lifestyle is speeding up your aging process or hopefully slowing it way down. Another game-changing tool is the DEXA scan. This is how you look beyond the simple number on the bathroom scale and see what your body is really made of. It gives you a detailed breakdown of your muscle mass, your bone density, and, most importantly, how much dangerous visceral fat you have packed around your organs. That information is a far, far better indicator of your overall health than your weight alone. And really, this whole level of the pyramid boils down to one simple, powerful principle: you just can't improve what you don't measure. Data gives you a baseline. It shows you where you are, and it lets you track your progress to see if the changes you're making are actually working. All right, we've built the base, we've added the data layer. Now we get to the very peak of the pyramid. And this is where things get really exciting. This is the cutting edge, where we're exploring the science that is literally pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible for human health span. There's a ton of crazy research going on, but a lot of it falls into a few key areas. You've got cellular cleanup, which is all about getting rid of these old, dysfunctional zombie cells that hang around and cause inflammation. Then there are metabolic resets, with drugs that can restore your body's energy processing systems. There's also pathway modulation, which involves using molecules to influence the core biological pathways that control aging itself. And finally, advanced recovery tools that can help your body repair and regenerate faster than ever. So let's zoom in on just one of these: rapamycin. This is probably the most talked about molecule in longevity science today. So why all the hype? Because it targets a central pathway in our cells called mTOR. You can think of mTOR as a master growth switch. When you're young and growing, you want that switch flipped on. But as you get older, having it stuck in the on position all the time seems to accelerate aging. Rapamycin helps gently turn that switch down, and the effects are, well, they're pretty profound. And the results from animal studies are just incredible. In one landmark study, a cocktail of rapamycin and another drug extended the median lifespan of mice by 36.6%. Now, just to put that into human terms, that's like helping a person live to be well over 100 years old, but in good health. It's data like this that has scientists so incredibly excited about what's on the horizon. Okay, so as exciting as all of this is, we have to take a step back and have a little reality check. We have to look at the big picture. Because as these incredible technologies start to become reality, we have to ask some really tough questions about how they'll be used and who will actually benefit from them. And this quote from Dr. Seil really brings us back down to earth. If these breakthroughs only end up being accessible to the ultra-wealthy, we risk creating a world with a brand new and deeply troubling type of inequality, a longevity divide. That's a future we have to actively work to avoid. So, what's the path forward? Well, it starts by shifting our entire healthcare system from reaction to prevention. It means democratizing access to these diagnostic tools and basic care so everyone can take control of their health. It means we have to be smart and ethical about data privacy and AI. And on a societal level, it means creating public health policies that make the healthy choice the easy choice for everyone. So, as we stand here right on the edge of what feels like a true longevity revolution, we're left with this one absolutely critical question. As science keeps unlocking these powerful new tools, how do we, as a society, make sure that a longer life also becomes a better life for absolutely everyone? The answer to that is going to define our future.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers so I can bring you better content. See you tomorrow with a new video.